walking across the street at 51st and 8th. This is New York. Doesn't really feel like New York, but here it is. It is New York City. Now, I'm no authority on New York City, but I think I've got the authority of a Texan who spent 5 days there. I recently had an opportunity to spend time in New York City. Some of it with my lovely wife, but a lot of it by myself because it was a working trip for her. And since I live in a quiet suburb of Dallas, Texas, I was in for a mind-blowing experience. What did I see? What did I think? Do I ever want to go back to New York again? Stick around to the end for the answer, especially if you're thinking about visiting the Big Apple. First, Manhattan, and especially Times Square, didn't feel like a real place. Now, that's not New York's fault. It's obviously a real place and real people live there. But often, I felt like I was walking around on a massive movie set or in Disney World. Disclaimer, I've never actually been on a movie set, so what do I know? But that wasn't the biggest shock. The buildings are really tall, there's no surprise there, who doesn't know that? But on the ground level, everything seems so small and compact. There are fewer places to sit in restaurants, and everywhere you look along Broadway and Fifth Avenue, you see places you've heard of your whole life, all within a stone's throw of each other. The August Wilson Theater, the Lena Horne, the Ed Sullivan Theater, Radio City, the Rockefeller Center, Trump Tower, Tiffany's, Central Park, the MoMA, the Met, the Museum of Natural History, the New York Public Library. You don't even have to take the subway. You can just walk to these places. That's so different from where I live. In my hometown, you're not getting anywhere without a car unless you want to take a long bus ride. And it's not just what we saw either. It's what we heard. I heard so many languages being spoken all around me. French and German, Spanish and Portuguese, Chinese and Japanese. Oh, and English. Lots and lots of English. Do New Yorkers talk funny? No, not really. They don't sound like me, but they don't talk funny. Besides, I sound funny no matter where I am, so who am I to judge? But stick around and let me tell you about what it's like for a Texan to walk down the street in Manhattan. We were warned ahead of time about proper pedestrian etiquette in New York. You don't stop in the middle of the sidewalk. You don't do anything to hinder the people behind you. And there was a funny way in which you could see this culture ingrained in the people. Often, if someone even thought they might have gotten in my way, they apologized. I can't tell you how many times I heard, "I'm sorry," from someone crossing my path. I probably sounded dumb saying, "No problem, that's okay." But I felt bad that they were apologizing to me for practically no reason at all. Actually, I had an easy time adapting to the expectations of walking in Manhattan. I work in a large, crowded public high school. Navigating dense pedestrian traffic is my bread and butter. But stick around and I'll tell you where the culture shock really hit home. Where I come from, we get our impressions of New York City from Seinfeld, Friends, and Law and Order. No wonder there's something otherworldly about this city when we actually get here and see it for real. We're not used to thinking of Manhattan as a place where families with children and pets live and work and go to school every day. But I saw lots of people walking around with their children, their baby carriages, their dogs, their running shoes. Where do these people live? I didn't see one single house in all of Manhattan. In my hometown, I see miles and miles of houses and apartment complexes. In Manhattan, there are high-rise buildings all around you, but what are they? Are they office buildings? Are they apartment buildings? Are they hotels? Are they all three? It's not that easy for an out-of-towner like myself to tell. I decided that the buildings with lots of window units must be apartment buildings. We don't have a lot of window units where I live. If you wander off the main streets and onto the side streets, there are lots of brownstones. But many of those have businesses in them also. But if you think all this talk about the livability of New York makes me sound ignorant, wait until you hear what I'm going to talk about next. All over the sidewalks of Manhattan, you can see these discreet little entrances that take you down to a subterranean world, the New York City subway system. It's cheap, easy, fast, and practical in this densely populated place. And while we have some Metropolitan Rail in Dallas, you have to drive your car to get to it. Kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Why don't you just take your car all the way to where you need to go? Almost everyone I met in New York was nice, but I still felt very self-conscious, like everyone could tell I was a stranger. Probably because, well, they could. I tried really hard to look like I knew what I was doing and where I was going at all times. I found myself wishing I had my work ID and my lanyard from home so I could look more like I belonged there. And then something happened that made me feel like a real New Yorker, which you will probably think is lame-o. But here it is. I went into CVS Pharmacy for some cold medicine. We have CVS in Texas also. I went to the register, entered my phone number, and the cashier asked if I would like to use my $10 customer discount from Texas. She didn't even know it was from Texas. I said, hell yes, I want to use my $10 customer discount in New York. Just try to stop me. Now, if you think that's stupid, you haven't heard anything yet. Trust me. We saw The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. His guest was Nathan Lane. We sat right above the band and looked down at the very spot where the Beatles played on the Ed Sullivan Show twice. It just didn't seem real. Colbert spent some time taking questions from the audience and said something interesting to a New Yorker who was planning to move away soon. He said, before you leave, check out the museums because even though they're touristy, they were made first and foremost for New Yorkers to enjoy. And that's exactly what this neophyte New Yorker was gonna do. There are 4 museums in the vicinity of Central Park that I highly recommend. The MoMA, which is short for the Museum of Modern Art, the Met, which is the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Natural History Museum, and the Lego Store. Tickets for the museums are about in the $30 range. The Lego Store is free. At the Lego Store, you can see a life-size New York taxi made entirely of Legos. At nearby Theo Schwartz, you can play on a piano like the one in the movie Big. You can have your picture taken as a Barbie doll. Of those 3 other museums, the MoMA, the Met, and the Natural History, the MoMA is by far the smallest. It's also the most specialized. I thought it was very interesting. I saw lots of art that I recognized as a European history teacher. Lots of Picasso, you got your Cubism, some Van Gogh, Salvador Dali, there's your Surrealism, Jackson Pollock, you got your Abstract Expressionism, various different kinds of media, a forest of weird squiggly columns and black light. I heard lots of French spoken around me too. It's like all the French people came to check up on what the ugly Americans had done with their best stuff. The MoMA was good, and I did it in a couple of hours. But it did not prepare me for the Met. I guess we'll start with Byzantine and medieval art, and then go to the European paintings of World II. The Metropolitan Museum of Art is truly massive. It goes on and on and on. You can literally get lost in this place, and I literally did several times. It's got artwork from every era. You got your Renaissance, you got your Mannerism, you got your Baroque, you got your Neoclassicism, you got your Impressionism, you got your Neo-Impressionism, you got your Post-Impressionism. Oh, that's a famous one. You can easily spend at least half a day at the Met. There's a huge variety of artifacts to see from every imaginable culture going back to ancient history. It's like looking back into time itself. After half a day at the Met, you're warmed up to experience New York's finest artistic achievement. A hot dog from a street vendor. Pay with cash. But that's not all. The Natural History Museum is also vast. It's nature, it's history. It's across all continents. It's across all time periods, all the way back to the Big Bang. It's wildlife. It's human life. It's another half a day at least. There is so much to see, it's really beyond description. But there's another museum at the south end of Manhattan that everyone needs to see. It's not pleasant, but you need to see it. All right, here is the World Trade Center, and this is the reflecting pool for World Trade Center number 1 with all the names of the victims and the waterfall. Not the waterfall, but this fountain. Sounds like a waterfall. We need to pay homage to nearly 3,000 people. The 9/11 Memorial is another half a day if you want to do this right. It's dark, it's dank, it's sobering, it's serious, it's quiet, it's cavernous. There's a lingering atmosphere of great evil in this place. Something horrifying happened here. You don't go to the 9/11 Memorial for fun. You go there because, well, these people deserve to be remembered. And we need to remember to be vigilant and alert, because this can happen again, and it can be even worse the next time. Every American, every visitor to New York, regardless of where you are from, should visit this place one time. It's an unforgettable experience, and you'll never want to come back again. Well, we just came out of the 9/11 Memorial, and it was very sobering, and I left with a feeling of depression and kind of anger and a feeling like dread, because I don't think that our current leaders have anything close to the competence or the intelligence or the wherewithal to prevent this from happening again. And I hope I'm wrong, but I really think that we are on borrowed time. That was the feeling. And it made me remember what I was doing that day, because I was a graduate student, and it really kind of brought it back. And so we're moving on to the next item on our agenda. Well, that was depressing. Let's end this thing on a high note. Back to Broadway. Did I mention there are a lot of theaters in this city? We saw 6 at the Lena Horne. We saw Cabaret at the August Wilson. Both were a mix of lighthearted musical fun and serious commentary. That went especially for Cabaret, a story about living on the fringes of society in Berlin during the Nazi era. Its relevance to the dangerous times we are living in now were lost on nobody in that audience. Broadway has much to say about who we are and what we are going through. So after all that, would this Texas native ever want to return to New York City? Absolutely. There is still so much more to see and do, so much more to experience. I would go back. Yes, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be that cheesy. You know it's coming. Central Park has a statue dedicated to America's first ever illegal immigrant, and here he is right here. So this is 5th Avenue right here, where we could shoot somebody and not lose any voters. Thanks to New York for a great visit. You have expanded my awareness and reminded me that there's lots of different ways to live and enjoy life, and they're all valid and they're all great. And I hope to visit again real soon. In a New York Minute. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. I hope it helps you plan your visit to this unique place. Share your thoughts on what you think I should do if I'm ever fortunate enough to go back. If you're a musician or you just love music, check out my other videos and check out our project, Crossdraw, on Spotify or wherever you stream your music.